So welcome Oren Lyons, and we meet here in Stockholm. And when we have been talking about sustainability and we reflect on how the world is going and the financing crisis has sort of hit everyone, of course many business leaders all around the world are looking in the front now. Which advice would you like to give them to run their businesses?
Well, first of all, that as we're very much using the phrase business as usual is over. You cannot continue to do business the way that we have been doing business simply because it's unsustainable. The two major compounds going on today. One is the compounding of human life and the population's explosion. In 1950, I was 20 years old and there were 2.5 billion people in the world. Here we are 60 years later and it's almost close to 7 billion. That's not sustainable. That's absolutely not sustainable. And then the inequity of the people who are here, again, that's not sustainable either. So, and then the other compound, of course, is the ice is melting in the north. So while no matter what kind of a discussion you're having about business, the ice is going to determine exactly what's going to happen. And the deterioration of the weather is a very serious event, and also the fact that nations and states are more interested in their own economies rather than thinking collectively. Now the situation is global, so the cure has to be global, and the finite resources of the earth are taxed now to a point where just not enough to sustain another 2 billion people. And it's a warning to all of us, and leadership has to step forward, and they have to really talk to the people who control their interests, which is the stockholders. And the stockholders have to understand that profit cannot be the driving force behind corporations anymore. They're going to have to learn how to share. They're going to have to learn how to compromise. They're going to have to learn how to diminish the uses that they have been doing, and they're going to have to learn to be responsible for other people besides themselves or their company.
Is it a question of a personal commitment for a leader?
Not for us. I mean, the leadership from the Haudenosaunee goes with our accepting the position of leadership. And so when we do that, it's totally service. Service to the people, service to the earth, service to...
But when you look at the business leader in the company today, how much is it a question of a personal commitment?
Well, I would say for him or her, it's a question of comprehending the size of the crisis. And if you don't comprehend the size of the crisis, then you're simply going to get caught by it. And even if you do comprehend it and you don't work collectively, you're still going to get caught by it. And even if you work collectively and your government does not, you're still going to get caught by it. So it has to rise to the level of countries and nation states to take a serious collective action on behalf of themselves and everybody. And it's got to be a global solution, because time is a factor now. Time is a very serious factor. And the more time that we waste, the less time you have to meet the problem.
Can you see or reflect on the numbers of people attending to conferences like this, that it has been any changes?
Well, I've noticed, yeah, there is changes, but it's happening in countries like Sweden, who are forward-thinking and who think collectively to begin with. The United States is probably the worst of the lot in terms of thinking collectively. Their total competitive nature is built into their genes by this time. And they're the ones that's going to have to really change, because they have the largest carbon footprint. 1/4 of the whole
Understood.
world is their carbon footprint, and they're only 7% of the population. So there's a huge inequity there.
Yeah.
And of course, if they change their direction, and I think President Obama is trying hard to do that, but of course the Republican Party, which is basically the business party, as they say themselves, are a party of no. They said, what don't you understand about the word no? and that's an amazing position for people in power and authority to be taking in these times today. Just amazing.
You've been talking frequently about collective, and you are sort of very negative to the word competitive, and I understand that it's something which reflect to each other how you act. But is that what you say, that the philosophy of competitiveness is something which is wrong?
Well, it has to be organized, and it has to be reined in. There's no control. I would say right now that capitalism is galloping completely out of control, and that in the politics of, at least in the United States, people have lost control of the Congress and the Senate. It's now in the control of corporations. And then recently in the Supreme Court, they have just made a decision on behalf of corporations as opposed to people. So if the Supreme Court is going to be supporting corporations versus people, where is the equity, and where is the fairness, and where is the future?